Oh my god, what am I doing?
I have a bit of a secret to share with you guys. It's kind of like for those out there who voted for Trump, you know, like maybe it was your family member, someone you never expected from, the people living in hiding. You kind of have to keep it on the low. I don't think Roseanne did anything wrong. Now, from the moment I say that, a lot of people probably have some opinions that come into their head about who I am, who I'm representing, my level of self-love, who I'm a mouthpiece for, lots of things. I'm going to try and break it down in two different arguments. One I think is a bit harder to understand, even though I always make it, and another one I think is much easier to understand. First of all, let's start off with who Roseanne is. Roseanne is a comedian and an actress, and she's known for doing some very outrageous things. She was a stand-up comedian, and particularly in the 80s, she had a running sitcom that at the time was breaking lots of barriers by portraying the American working class family. Yes, there are people who will say that it was excluding some groups, but the America then is not the America today, and she was doing something that at the time was a very big deal. Also want you to keep in mind exactly the kind of stunts she has pulled in the past. If you really think about it too, the rerun of Roseanne would have been one of the few shows that are showing a family with political divisions and getting along, which is something that is apparently very hard to do nowadays. But recently, she royally messed up by making a supposedly racist tweet about someone named Valerie Jarrett, someone I've never heard of before this event, and by comparing her to someone from, well, she was comparing her to an ape. APE. Maybe that sounds like a slam dunk argument to you because of who this Valerie person was and the fact that she's supposedly a black person, but I'm going to break this down for you. I'm going to do my utmost to make this clear. If you can criticize someone and mock them and insult them and call them an ape when they're of one color, but you can't criticize and insult someone and mock someone when they're of a different color, that means that you're not seeing the two people as equal. If you can't hurl insults at someone, especially as a comedian, but you can't do it for another group, that means that you are specially protecting this group, and that means you don't see them as equal. They don't have the same role in your world, in your society. They are not actually being included the same way you would include another person who you think is just not offensive when that's said. I'm going to take my glasses off now. I don't know if people really get that because I say it so often, but that's my first core argument. This is a harder one. I know people make the argument that the reason why this is so offensive is because historically talking about the stupidity of particularly black people was something used against them and used to implement a system of actual systematic racism that existed in the past. And there, in some ways, I think it still exists today. There are people who think that you can judge a person just from the color of their skin, but I don't want to get too deep into that or I might offend more people. So I get that argument, but I'm telling you that if you're living in your society today and you can't criticize someone because they have a certain skin color, but you can criticize another person, or you can't mock someone because they have a certain skin color, but you can mock another person, they don't have equal footing in your society. And to me, that's not a good thing. I actually wanted to coin this, the Starbucks syndrome. It's where when something bad happens to a black person, particularly because America has a particular fetish for black people, more so than other persons in big quotations of color, something negative happens to them, and then we don't actually know the motives of the person who did it, but because this negative thing happened and it was a black person, we assume that it was because of race. And then there is a siren call of racist. And then this person, no matter what they've done, like the manager of Starbucks in the past, is forever branded by this single racist moment in their history. Just their life. Ruined, shattered, gone. I want to say that I haven't read Roseanne's diary. I haven't been there like God watching over her life to see how she treats this person to how she treats that person. But that's the first argument I want to make. The second argument, which I think is a lot easier, is how this Valerie person looks. I went and I looked her up, and I really don't think that she should be called a black person. Now, there's something in America, I don't know why people do this, where it's almost like a one drop rule. Like you're black, even though you don't, you don't really look like me. And I'm not I'm not trying to like say you can't claim to be black if you want, whatever, I don't really care. But if I was looking at this person, I would not have assumed that she was black. And I think there's a very strong argument to be made here that Roseanne did not know that this person would have been considered black. However, I actually think it's less important than the first argument, which I know is hard for people to understand. But that's the second one. So I actually don't really understand the outrage when you consider that stuff. No matter what this person claims to identify herself as, I don't think it's that obvious to another person that she would be identified as black. I'm pretty sure if she was in Jamaica, for example, we would not call her black. Not that we would care as much as people over here. Maybe something's wrong with me, and maybe I need to go and have some unconscious bias training. Who knows? But at this point, whenever I hear of someone or something being called racist, I immediately think they probably aren't, and I need to look more into this, because I can't assume and give the person calling that person the R word the benefit of the doubt. Anyhow, I hope Roseanne is doing okay through this entire ordeal. I don't know if she's a saint. I just see this situation and many situations like it with different eyes than a lot of people, because I think there is a complete obsession with digging up the grievances of the past and making people feel guilty for things and trying to find people who fit into that image and find those situations because they don't really exist, so they have to manufacture these issues. That's my opinion. Take it or leave it. As for her being on Ambien and all those memes coming out about that, I'm sticking to the two arguments I made. I hope they were very clear to you guys. Food for thought. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to donate. Just thinking out loud.tv/donate. I'm going to bring you more content soon. Have a great day, guys. Bye. I don't think she should have apologized. I think she made it worse by doing that.